What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at pure Sky Strikers today. I have not done that. Typically, before I was running this, these little packages like Numeron and Ice Bell to go into Crystalline Synchro Dragon. But there was a new release, obviously, with the Phoenix Enforcer, and it is so good in Sky Strikers. And also in this video, I think at least once I will show off the new Kaiju that came out. I'm a little on the fence on it, to be honest with you. I think it's okay. But yeah, these are going to be some meta matchups, and I'll tell you about my experience, and I'm going to go even more in depth. I just really wanted to get this video out today because I think it's really cool. So, of course, you're playing a gajillion hand traps. That's pretty obvious. But yeah, the interactions with Phoenix Enforcer are really cool. Well, it's a good card, period. But the best part is, of course, is that your field spell can be popped with Phoenix Enforcer, so it's another way to search out Ray, which is really great. Because honestly, Rose really isn't that good. And you're setting spells and traps constantly in this deck, so you're not going to have a huge hand size at any one point typically, or you can at the very least make it small. And there you go, you saw that interaction. So you can always use that draw 2 effect is where I'm getting to. But yeah, of course, when it pops itself, it opens up your lanes again for all of your Sky Striker stuff. I run cards like Solemn Judgment because there's so much room for hand traps. And it typically does work out. So here, I just have an overwhelming amount of advantage, and that is what Sky Strikers do. It's still really weak going second, so my old build certainly still has a decent amount of say in how good the deck is. Because if they force you to go first, it's really just, well, I'm going to search, engage, and hope I drew some hand traps kind of thing. So I'm going to hold on to this Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, of course. I did have the Solemn there. I still have the pop, which is, obviously very good. All right, here is I think this is probably game 3 if I'm guessing, or maybe it was actually just even game 2. So if your opponent's smart enough, they will make you go first, but I get it because, typically you're going first. End boards for most meta decks are really hard to beat, but yeah, this is really good, of course. I was playing Phantom Knight, so I did have the Lancia side in. He didn't actually end up banishing anything, which who would have thought. We'll see what I end up doing here. I'm not in the greatest position. He's in a little bit of a tough spot because he's going to have to discard this Fire Flint Lady. We'll see when he decides to do it. Okay, so Hayate, I definitely want to go into Engage at some point. And there we go. There's the Kagari. I can go into the Verde Anaconda to pressure him off of the Fusion Destiny. I do run 2 other copies. Luckily, it doesn't send the materials and then get negated. But I can start going after his back row, which is really nice. Of course, Dragoon cannot be destroyed. So I'm definitely behind, but take a look at this play. 500,000 IQ from your boy. Okay, so I only have 500 points left, but I do have the Widow Anchor, so I got to hold that. I've got to make sure he doesn't have any cards in his hand. I do not know what he was trying to combo into, but yeah, 250. I'm going to go ahead and steal my own Sky Striker Ray. Let's go, boys. That is awesome. Who would have, that's just, I don't think I would have done that if I was him. But yeah, the Dark Charmer is also a really good tech in this deck. I run Celine, so I can go into Access Code Talker because I have cards like Droll and Lockbird, which, obviously are pretty much ubiquitously good. And it's obviously just spell trap, so it's or a spellcaster, I should say. So you need it with Celine. Otherwise, you can go for Shark Cannon to kind of link climb, all that good stuff. But he did draw this card. Didn't really do anything for him, which is really sick. We'll go into Sword Soul now. I actually played. This guy was really nice. I had a really fun time playing him. He beat me in both matches, so I don't think this has the best matchup in the world. Going second, it's okay. But they are playing cards like Called by the Grave, Triple Tactical Talents, which is kind of harsh against a very hand trap heavy deck. It can be very punishing, but you can side in some really good stuff. And if they do force you to go first, I don't think in either of these matches I didn't have the card, but Dimensional Barrier is certainly something that I'm going to be looking at. I had the perfect opening here. That's obviously kind of why I won the duel. I had 3 hand traps. He did have Called By for one of them, but yeah, I had the 2 Infinite Impermanence. I did have the Afterburners there to get rid of that back row. That card is obviously very good. And I even have the follow-up of Fusion Destiny. I'm going to go ahead and pop this link too, so we can't use the effect. It's going to come back next turn, and I'm sitting pretty at this point. I probably, let's see. I think I ordered this wrong at some point. Well, the next turn I could have set this, drawn 2 cards, and yeah, he ended up drawing the trap card, which of course I would have popped at the end of the turn, which is really nice. I never got skunked, I guess, in any of these matches, but yeah. Okay, so the new Ecclesia is going to come out there. I think this card is really expensive. I was looking on TCG, and the Sword Soul pricing is pretty steep for the most part. I haven't really looked at any like deck list, but I'm guessing it's going to be around $300. But considering, well, actually Baroness is already 100 in and of itself, so maybe like 350, something like that. Which I guess considering meta is not all that bad. All right, so he's going to go ahead and negate that. I got rid of one, two, three forms of his disruption, which is really nice. You know, the top deck of Hornet Jones is about as good as it gets, of course. I'm going to go ahead and attack directly. I have to get this Baroness off, you know, the board because he let the infinite impermanence go through, meaning that next turn his negate will be back online. So that does pressure me a little bit there. I'm going to go ahead and go into probably Predaplant Birdie and Nakonda to give myself 2 forms of disruption, which is, you know, again, like this is what makes Phoenix Enforcer just so good. The fact that there's follow-up play. Luckily, it pops before it goes to the graveyard, so Called by the Grave is just going to be sitting there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pop this normal summon so he can't go into his synchro plays. He's going to go ahead and get over the Predaplant Birdie and Nakonda, but that's okay. Actually, it's nice to kind of have that zone open. I'm going to go. I think I should probably. Well, I'm going to pop the field spell, but I can set this Jamming Waves in just a second to draw 2 cards, which is really cool. After I do all my plays, honestly, I can also do that too, if I remember. Hopefully I do. That would be very silly if I didn't. I know I made a misplay in one of them, and honestly, it is probably here. Yeah, like, I'm horrible. I'm a horrible Yu-Gi-Oh player. I can't set these cards and... what are you going to do? I mean, it ended up working out in my favor, but yeah, make sure you do stuff. Make sure you do the obvious things, you know? And there's just a couple more duels, and this is Invoked, so Invoke should all. Although I think he's also running Eldritch stuff, which is pretty interesting. So he's just got a little bit of everything. This was kind of, I think these were like, represent some of the first builds when these cards all came out. Like Eldritch Invoked was like really big for just like a really hot second. I haven't seen it much since. Here is the Kaiju. I think I do actually end up using it here. He's going to try to chain the Dogmatic or the Punishment on, you know, my Ray. I get because he wants to banish it, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't think that's the best idea. It ended up obviously working out. His Punishment doesn't go through. You know, I got rid of his Makaba. He goes to negate the effects with Infinite Impermanence, but yeah, that doesn't do anything. Pretty much a admittance of like, oh, what the heck's going on. I go ahead and use Widow Anchor on purpose on myself because I want the extra draw effect. I can grab the you know, engage again. I can't believe this card used to be at 3. It's absolutely wild. I'll banish his Invoker in case he top decks Invocation, which, you know, obviously would have been very bad for me. And I can grab whatever, set this again, like Shark Cannon, Solemn Judgment, Widow Anchor. It's pretty good, obviously. All right, so I can go ahead and use the Area 0. I'll banish, or I'll grab his Makaba, of course. I can either Link Climb or, you know, do pretty much whatever I want at this point. So the game, obviously, was just kind of in my hand from there. But yeah, that was a pretty good initial look at Pure Sky Striker, something I haven't done yet. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.